Hey everyone, Andy Raffel from eTeknix.com, and today is the day where we can finally talk about Z690 and Intel 12th Gen. And that is where this little thing comes in. The Z690 AORUS Pro. Let's do this.
Andy, what are you watching?
It's not what you think.
Wow, it's so big!
Why, thank you. It's the new AOC AG493 UCX, 49 inches of pure performance and a refresh rate of 120 Hz. It's so fast. You can even do two at a time.
What?
You can connect two devices at a time and split the screen. With FreeSync Premium Pro, a 32:9 aspect ratio and a built-in KVM, you'll be finished in no time. Gaming, I mean. What did you think I mean? Get your mind out the gutter and click the link in the description to find out more. So for anyone who doesn't know, Z690 is now upon us to a certain degree. We can finally do unboxings and previews and things like that. And this is one of the videos where we're going to start, the Z690 AORUS Pro. Now for anyone who's interested, we do have written previews on this as well. And then on the 4th of November, we will be able to lift the lid on performance figures and benchmarks and everything else that you really want to see in conjunction with Intel's 12th Gen Alder Lake processors. So Z690 AORUS Pro, we have got plenty of other boards as well. So definitely check out all the other videos we got in the written content, because we've got Asus, we've got MSI, we've got other Gigabyte boards, including, I'm looking at them now, the Master and the Extreme. So let's talk about the Pro. This is kind of a first glimpse, I guess, of, the box. So the key standout features here: PCIe 5, DDR5, support for Z690 and Intel Core 12th Gen processors. Other than that, there's not really too much else going on. LGA 1700. There's a little bit of information on the top, but nothing really to shout home about. But on the back is where we kind of get a first glimpse of, I guess, how the board itself is going to look, what the key specifications are, the rear I/O, some of the standout features, which on this tells us VRMs are slightly different now. 16 V-Core phases, 1 VCC GT phase, and 2 VCC AUX phases, 90 amp power stage, tantalum polymer capacitors. So, I mean, for a board of this kind of caliber, Pro, that sounds pretty hench. So I'm actually really interested to see what the Master and the Extreme are like. But yeah, that tells us straight away. Obviously we have the kind of heatsink design that Gigabyte do, the advanced thermal design with their fins and the enlarged M.2. We've kind of seen this before. It's just obviously an improvement on what they had before. DDR5 and XMP 3.0 memory supported, PCIe 5.0 hardware design, and SAW free with Wi-Fi 6. So it's Wi-Fi 6, not Wi-Fi 6E by the looks of it. But still plenty quick enough for the majority of users. On the higher end boards, obviously we might see 6E. So first things first, let's get the board and put it to one side and talk about the accessories and everything that comes bundled with it. So straight away we get our user's manual, pretty kind of standard stuff. We do get a nice little AORUS case badge sticker. We get our multilingual installation guide. And that's it for kind of the paperwork side of things. If we lift this part of the box out, this is where we can see what cables we get. So we get two SATA cables, one of them being right angled, one of them not, both with clips on there to keep it locked in, and exactly the same again. So we get 4 SATA cables in total. We get a screw, which I'm guessing is for our M.2. We get our Wi-Fi antenna for our Wi-Fi 6, which will plug straight into the board. We get another M.2 screw, and another M.2 screw, and another one, two, three, 4 M.2 screws. You can probably guess how many M.2s this board supports. We also get what looks like some kind of proprietary cable, maybe for is that a little speaker or a probe? We'll find out for our review regardless. I think it's actually a speaker. This is the probe, so we actually get a 2-pin connector into a probe so you can see what the temperature is in certain parts of your board. We get another one of them as well, so 2 probes. We also get an RGB extender cable, female to male. And then we get the G connector, which is an absolute lifesaver if you're putting a board inside your case and you're maybe a little bit kind of, stuck on room and things like that. It can be quite fiddly. You just plug all your front panels into that, plonk that whole thing on. Job done. Nice and easy. So let's put all that to one side and we can actually look at the reason why you're actually here watching this video, which is the Z690 AORUS Pro. So taking it out of its anti-stack bag, I'm going to apologise for any noise that the microphone's picking up, but this is our first glimpse of the board itself. So ATX form factor, there's no armour or anything on the back, it's pretty much plain PCB. But design-wise, I think that's pretty nice actually. I mean, it looks extreme, but not kind of over the top. You know, you can still see some of the PCB. So to start with, we've got our socket. Opening that up, LGA 1700. So this is support for the latest Intel 12th Gen Alder Lake processors, which on the 4th of November, we will be lifting the lid and showing you exactly how this board performs using an i9-12900K. So make sure you're subscribed for that or check out eTeknix.com. We can see that we've got plenty of capacitors and chokes around the actual board itself. As I mentioned, there was like 16 on the V-core. Plenty of large heat sinks as well with loads of kind of fins on there to help dissipate the heat. And to provide the power to the CPU, we've got an 8-pin and a 4-pin connector. None of this kind of metal shielding on there. It is quite sort of basic, but that's what you'd expect on a Pro board, right? We also have our DDR5. It's going to be weird saying that. It's like when you change, you know, you go into January of the next year and you're still writing like 2020. It's like, no, it's 2021. But yeah, DDR5, there's 4 of them, and they have got the shielding around there as well, which obviously looks cool, as well as giving some extra stability and obviously ESD to the memory. So you're not going to have any sort of problems with that. Not that people really do, but either way, it looks cool. So let's go with that. We do have various connections up the top. So we've got CPU, fan headers. We've got addressable RGB, standard RGB. We've got a little debug LED on here, power button, 24 pin. We've got some more fan headers down here. USB, what looks like 3.2 Gen 1. We've got a Type-C connector for your front panel header as well. We've got Thunderbolt connectors as well, which is quite nice. Obviously, you'd expect that to be with an Intel Z690 board, the fact that it's got Thunderbolt. We've got a noise sensor here, so that's what that little cable is. You take this off, a little sort of 2-pin thing, and then you can put the noise sensor on there. Just need to try and get that back on there. We have 6 SATA ports in total for those still using SATA devices. CMOS battery, we've got our front panel connectors down here. Plenty of fan headers. So it actually looks like all the fan headers are kind of situated around the edge of the board, which is quite nice to see. We have QFlash Plus button. So looking at it, we will have a USB on the back for the BIOS, and then if you want to update the BIOS without your CPU and everything in there, you can press this button. USB 2.0. We've got a TPM header, the dreaded TPM. Anyone who's kind of done the whole Windows 11 thing will know what I'm talking about. We've got RGB header, another addressable header, LED demo, and our front panel audio. And then we've got our audio over here with the amp up audio. So yeah, things are looking pretty nice there. In terms of the styling, it's pretty much black and kind of silver. I'm going to admit, I'm not struck on this. Why is it white? I've got to admit, not a massive fan of the white. It just kind of stands out like a sore thumb. I'm guessing they've done it because I'm guessing, and I do feel like I need to look at the box, but I'm guessing it is a PCI Express Gen 5 X16 slot maybe. I'm going to have a look just to make sure. It is PCI Express 5.0 X16. So what they've tried to do is to differentiate it in such a way to say, this is different to that. I mean, they could have done anything. They could have just kept it black and put the shielding on it. So it's just these ones, but with shielding. I just don't get the white. I think it just stands out a bit too much. Admittedly, when your graphics card's in there, you're not going to see it, but I don't know, maybe I'm being overcritical. What do you think? Either way, you can see that we've got this large heatsink design kind of wrapped around it, and it looks like we've got an M.2 slot under here. I'm guessing there's another M.2 there and potentially another one underneath that. It's hard to actually see. Obviously, our chipset for Z690 is going to be underneath here. So we have got the X16 PCI Express 5. Then the other ones underneath are PCI Express. So they're both actually physically X16 slots, but digitally, if you want to say, they are X4. So in looking at the box, it says that they are PCI Express 3.0. Yeah, I did assume that on a board like this. On the higher end boards, you might find that they're all kind of PCI Express 5 and 4. But on this, only the one is 5. The other two are PCI Express 3.0. And that's pretty much it for kind of the main part of the board. Obviously, the heatsink comes up here. This all looks like it's going to light up RGB and everything as well. Potentially, I guess there could be some RGB that kind of comes out around here. And then as we go to the rear I/O, this is where we have our USB 3.2 ports. We've got our AX Wi-Fi. We've also got, Wi-Fi 6. We've also got USB here, DisplayPort, USB 3.2 Type-C, more USB 3.2 super speed ports, another 2 here, and 2.5G Ethernet, and then our mic, line out, and optical SP diff. So not a bad little board, quite a few sort of decent features. I guess the type of user it's going to be for is more kind of, you know, your mainstream user who just wants to sort of, you know, get the very latest technology. They want Gen 5, they want DDR5, they want 12th Gen. This is going to be perfect, and it should be pretty well priced in the grand scheme of things. Pro boards generally are. I mean, obviously, if you want something, you know, a little bit higher end, that is where things like this come in, which is the Z690 AORUS Master. And then we've also got down there, and I'm going to tease you and make, you know, not show you, because I want you to go and watch the video, the Z690 AORUS Extreme, which I can tell you now is an absolute beast. But this video is all about the Pro. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Are you going to be going for a Pro, or would you be more inclined to go for something maybe a little bit higher end or on the complete crazy end of the scale? Remember, we have got content on Asus boards and MSI boards as well. If that tickles your fancy, definitely go and check that out. Make sure you're subscribed for the 4th of November when we can finally show you what the performance is like on all of these boards. Other than that, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know exactly what to do, and I will see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.